Hello. How's everybody doing tonight? So, without further ado, I'm going to start with Nicole, if you want to come up here. Hello.
Hello. You thought I was short, huh? Or that I had short torso.
Yeah, if you need to adjust, please do. If you want to start just by introducing yourself.
Yes. Hi, I'm Nicole.
Now, Nicole is here. She is the new artistic director of the Granite Theater. She has been here. How long have you been here?
We officially moved here April 22nd. I got the job at the Granite January 27th, so I did a bit of commuting from New York City until our house closed and my husband finished classes at grad school.
So I want to start there. I like to start all of these conversations off for this series with a little bit of geographic context. So I like to talk about how you landed here in Westerly. So let's start there. What brought you to the Granite and brought you to Westerly 6 months ago?
So I produced a series of off-Broadway shows in New York City that ran for 6 years, and they all closed March 12th, 2020. My partner, who I produced the shows with, him and his wife moved to Mystic in October of 2020. And once it was okay to see people again, Arthur and I visited them, and we just fell in love with the area. I mean, how could you not? We were getting tired of New York. I had been there at that point 18 years, and we had 2 small children, ready to move on. And it was the one spot where I was like, wow, I could actually see myself here. There's this beautiful, beautiful area, but also tourism. And I'm a producer. I love people, and I need to be in front of people. So that aspect that people were already drawn to the area was really exciting to me. And Anthony and I had been working together for 13 years. My best friend, I was excited to, follow him awkwardly. And luckily Arthur felt the same way. And then him and his wife jokingly were like, you should check out Westerly. It might be even more amazing than Mystic. And we drove across the river, parked across from the library, and I look up and I see the Granite Theater, and I'm like, oh my God, that's a big theater on the top of the hill. It's amazing. Then we walked into the park. It was August, and we saw the Shakespeare in the park. And then we, went through the gorgeous Wilcox Park, saw the United. I was like, this town is so artsy. It's amazing. And I'd never heard of it, and we fell in love. And then we found out that the reason that they told us to come over here was because they wanted to take advantage of the beach pass. We really lucked out. And then, so how I found the Granite was in January. We were planning on moving from the city around June, and I started compiling a list of theaters in the area that I wanted to reach out to and say, oh, hey, I'm coming. I'm a director. I'm a producer. Can I work with you? And I think Granite was the second on my list. That's where I was going. And I opened up their page to find their contact information, and they said, looking for an artistic director. And I was like, this can't be real. And I literally included that in my cover letter. Like, this is probably not real, but if you are looking, I might be available.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It was and they had posted it like 3 days earlier. It was really, really weird.
Serendipitous.
How it all worked out. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I had thought that you moved here because of the job, not the other way around. Wow.
Yeah, crazy.
Okay. That's amazing. So let's talk a little bit, before talking about the Granite and what you've done there and what you're going to do there, let's talk about specifically some of the work that you did do in New York. I know you worked on a show for quite a long time. I think you told us it was a show about the history of alcohol. Is that
yes.
right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
What was your experience there working in theater in New York, the theater mecca of the world?
It is a mecca. So yeah, I had been an actress for a while. I did a lot of regional shows, touring shows, a bunch of off-Broadway, and got a little tired of the living out of a suitcase life. So I wanted to put down some roots, and I got really into writing. And then I got, I'm sorry, losing my train of thought, but I got into the finalists of the Disney ABC Writers Program. So then I thought I was going to go the LA route. So I went out there to go talk to Disney and visited LA, and I did not like it. So I was, quick, gotta change directions here. But I had been working with Anthony. We had a little theater company where we produced workshops of new shows. And since I was getting into writing, we started producing some of my stuff. And then Anthony is the beverage director of the Institute of Culinary Education. And we would do workshops around the country where we would turn these teachable moments in mixology into little shows. And he was like, what if we made this into a show? And I was like, okay. So he wrote a 90-minute one-man show that was the history of alcohol from 10,000 BC to the current cocktail movement. And then I added in some funny stuff. And we submitted it to the New York International Fringe Festival, and it got accepted, sold out every show. We gave 3 drinks during the show. You know, it's a great show. We did a lot of work to make it a great show, but the marketing, I mean, 3 free drinks. So we sold out every show, then they encored us, which meant they gave us another 5 shows. Those all sold out, and then we were at the Soho Playhouse, which was an off-Broadway theater, and they just asked us if we wanted to stay. And it was one of those things where we were like, oh, sure, we'll do this until we don't do it anymore, and then it just kept going. Then we moved to New World Stages, and it was a thing. They put us, like, it said in Bible, this way, which was really exciting. You know, we had billboards in Times Square. It was a little surreal, you know? And one of those things where hilariously, we were both getting to the point, like, how do we get out of this? Like, the two of us ran the entire operation, and by that point, we had 4 shows. So we had A Spirited History of Drinking, Day Drinking, the Brunch Musical, yes, which opened with a Build Your Own Bloody Mary bar. It was amazing. Then Rum and Pirates, which took place on a pirate ship. We did around the New York City harbor, and then in later years, we just built our own ship on stage because that was easier to control than the New York City harbor. And then Christmas Carol Cocktails, which was, I mean, that's just gonna sell. Scrooge learns about. So it's a sequel to A Christmas Carol where Scrooge learns about cocktails, past, present, and future, so he can throw a party. Yeah. Yeah.
How many shows did you go? I mean, how long was your run?
So Spirited History of Drinking ran for 6 years. I think it was 1,500 shows.
Wow.
Yeah. Day Drinking ran 3 years. And then Christmas Carol Cocktail started in 2015, but only ran Christmas. And then Pirates also started, I think, in 2015, but ran every summer. So yeah, we were busy. And
do you dream those shows every night?
Not anymore. You know, I always had dreams where I would not be able to get on stage. You know?
Yeah.
And there was one, and I knew every show just in case, right? And there was one day where I did a 2:00 show of 2:00 show of Day Drinking, a 5:00 show of Spirited History, and an 8:00 show of Christmas Carol Cocktails.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're not drinking on stage during those shows?
No. And
okay.
that was something we were not drunk Shakespeare. It was about educating about alcohol and safe consumption and appreciating spirits as opposed to shots.
Yeah. That's a crazy run though.
Yeah, no, it was it was what I was looking for. You know, I was settled. I didn't have to be in a suitcase. I thought I had my thing, right? I was just looking for someone to, like, maybe give me a day off.
Yeah.
But COVID was like, every day off.
Oh my gosh. So you're at the Granite now. You talked about workshops. You had a space for doing workshops and workshopping new works. So I'm wondering now at the Granite, what you're bringing to the Granite as far as new works or education, theater education in particular, and how you're kind of taking your experiences in New York and bringing them here and transforming and kind of bolstering what the Granite it has been doing in new ways.
Yeah. So, I came from creating a show and building on top of it. Here I got thrown into a theater that does 8 fully produced shows a year, which is a giant undertaking for a community theater. We have 3 people on payroll, right? It is a community theater, completely volunteers. The board is a working board, so everyone is there because they love it. And there are stipends for actors and lights and sounds, but there are 3 people, right? So I first and foremost want to expand the children's program, the youth program, because the response we got from Lion King Jr. was outstanding, and I really think having them in a program from September until June, right? So once a week, you come to a theater class, and I'm thinking like 6-week courses, right? So we have not just acting, where the kids actually learn all aspects of what goes on at a theater, because I didn't know that. When I got into theater, I was like, oh, I think I want to be in the theater. I guess I have to be an actor. And it wasn't until I was professionally performing that I was like, what's that person doing over there? And that's what got me interested. And I remember I had to stage manage the Imbible maybe 3 months in, and I was fighting it. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I need to find someone else to do that. And then I was like, whoa, no, I love this. This is really cool. And at that point, I had been doing theater for a long time to not know what a stage manager was about. So that is what I want to make sure that kids know. And in Lion King, I had one kid who auditioned, and he had a great audition. And I was like, okay, so what role are you interested in? And he was like, I want to move the set pieces. I was like, okay. So not only did he totally was my assistant stage manager. He worked very closely with our stage manager, but he is coming in for the last weekend of Guys and Dolls, and he's going to do some backstage ASMing.
That's great.
So that aspect, absolutely. But I have been getting a number of scripts in from people that are looking for, to produce their show, their written show. So it is something I'm very, very much interested in. I just need to expand slowly and carefully.
Yeah. Yeah. What have you done so far since being at the Granite?
Wow, Tony, my gosh.
I mean, for shows. For shows. Like, man. So how have you moved the needle? No, for shows, I mean.
So we started the season with Boeing, which is a farce. Then we did Lion King Jr. Then Girl on the Train, which is based on the best-selling novel. And now we are doing Guys and Dolls.
What do you have coming up after that?
Next, we have The Boys Next Door, The Nonsense, Elephant Man, and Miracle on 34th Street.
And that's all this year?
That's all. December 18th, that will be, or December 17th. I'm looking forward to taking a breath on December 18th.
That's a lot of shows.
Yeah.
So as far as education goes, and you talked about the importance of education, what do you think the importance of community theater and theater as a community space is? I mean, a lot of people hear the term community theater, maybe don't know what it is or have their own idea of what community theater means, but what does that mean to you?
Yeah, so, and honestly, community theater is so exciting for me because in New York, I had a product and I had to sell my product. Here in this community, I get to ask the community what they want the product to be, and that is amazing to me, to not have to, fight. So I just want people in the doors, right? I want people talking to me, telling me what shows they're interested in seeing, how they want to, if they want to volunteer, how they can volunteer. We hosted a chamber meeting right when I started, and someone from the Shelter Harbor Inn, Paula, she handed me her card and she was like, I would like to volunteer sometime. And I was like, what do you do? What do you want to do? And she's like, maybe backstage. You best believe she was opening night of Guys and Dolls. I remembered.
That's great.
Yeah, and I'm having a ton of people come up to me and say, oh, I painted. Any chance I could paint a future set? Absolutely. And it's just people meeting people and not feeling pressure. I'm really trying to make it fun, right? So I don't want to burn anyone out, so the more volunteers, the better.
So do you like working with, you're new to the community. Have you found that working with people in that regard and creating that community mindset has helped you acclimate to the community in Westerly?
Absolutely. I'm already meeting a ton of people. It's fun, like, someone passes my house and they beep, it's crazy to know people already. But yeah, and just to see the passion, when someone texts me and they're like, oh, I have a few free days this week. Do you need help? It's amazing. And it's such a different experience than when, New York, when everyone works their specific hours and you do not hold them a hair longer, It's been a wonderful way to really get into the community, and I want to, keep going to events and meeting more people because of that,
So I want to talk a little bit about Westerly and things you like about Westerly. You said that you went to Mystic, you liked Mystic, you came to Westerly. It's funny, that's a through line for a lot of these. A lot of people have said the same thing. They're like, we just stumbled into this little town and we were totally sold on it immediately, and we moved in and we started our life here. We started our business here, and these are a lot of new businesses and new people moving to Westerly as well. So I'm wondering, what do you like? What have been your favorite things about this community? What are your favorite places to go? You have 2 small kids, right?
Yes, we have a 1 and 3-year-old.
So how has this community been, bringing in your kids? Have you felt welcomed and excited to be a part of the Westerly scene?
Yeah, honestly, every day my husband and I are like, we love it here so much. It's getting a little awkward, but no, and the food is amazing. Like every time you're like, well, this couldn't be better, but it is. This downtown is adorable, and even my sister is in town. And she just took our daughter to get ice cream. And she was like, should we go to downtown Mystic? And I was like, no, actually stay in Westerly because there's 2 ice cream places. And there's more, like, the park is right here. There's ducks in the pond. I feel better about them walking on these sidewalks than I do in Mystic. Like, no, it's amazing. There's everything you want. I know I'm telling people who live in Westerly, but like, we're just shocked.
So what are some of your favorites? What are your go-to places in Westerly since being here?
Okay, go-to places. So oh my gosh, why am I blanking on the name? Well, Junk and Java, yes. We do live right around the corner. That was part of the stipulation of moving from the city. We do live 900 feet from a coffee shop. That was necessary. I'm blanking. What is the restaurant here that's open late? The bar.
Perks and Corks?
Not Perks and Corks. High Hope. There it is.
High Hope
is open after the shows, and I appreciate that.
Nice.
And the food is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. The gelato place is amazing. I love the antique stores. Oh my gosh, we were just at Amigos the other night. Yeah, no, it's all amazing. I love the library. Is that silly?
No, not silly at all.
I went to the beach today.
Yeah, it's great. So I end these conversations with the same question, which is kind of a heavier question, I guess. But now that you're part of the Westerly community and you're here, I wonder, like, in the next 5 years, say, like, what would you love to bring to Westerly? What would you love to be something that you inject into the community and help bring about or become a part of or help create in this community?
Yeah, that's great. So, and I've mentioned this to Carly before, is I really, really want to get the heads of the art installations in this town and just make us one, and so that we're working together as opposed to, oh no, are they going to do this before us? Because, not in Westerly, but I've encountered that at some theaters within 30 or so miles from here, and it's a little shocking to me, and I don't want to fall into that trap. I want everyone to work together to make sure that the community gets what they deserve, and we're all in it together.
From one artistic director to another, I agree 100%. Yeah, that's a huge challenge, and I think all of us working together would be amazing, and bolstering what each other are doing, promoting each other instead of against. And
yeah, exactly. There's no reason we can't be doing different things all on the same track.
Nope. It's like all of the restaurants in town. There's so many restaurants, but the more restaurants you have, the more people come, the more they have options and they can move around. It's great. So I like that.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to our lunch, Tony.
Yes. Soon for sure. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
We look forward to great things. All right.